People often ask us what our life is like here in India. Life varies a lot here. Despite the fact that India is developing rapidly in some areas, other aspects of life here are the same as they were hundreds of years ago. The places we stay are quite functional, but the comforts aren't quite the same as what we have at home. Our new base hospital in Assam is a beautiful place. We travel from here to other hospitals. We really enjoyed Christmas in Northeast India. It's celebrated with lots of song and dancing, as well as great food, usually eaten with hands, Indian style. A short trip to downtown Tezpur in Assam can be quite an adventure in the share rickshaws. The markets also vary, from some that are quite modern to open markets where we end up buying most of our food. And of course, food is not always handled in the same way we would do it at home, but we do cook it thoroughly. My clothes are made locally by a tailor who is very friendly and serves us tea while he's working on the clothes. The hospitals have some modern facilities, but they are really lacking in others. We enjoy morning chapel service with wonderful music. And Jerry enjoys speaking whenever he gets a chance.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, for me, please. And he had to make himself an example.
The basic high school education here gives the nurses a very poor foundation for nursing school. So the nursing schools have a difficult time filling their classes with good students. This leaves them poorly prepared to do the complicated work of taking care of babies.
5 goes into 40 how many times? This is 40, no? Oh, be careful with your work. This is patients' lives. This is not just math. No, this is patients' lives.
So we try to improve their working knowledge and their skills through classes and on-the-job training.
Called this seesaw breathing. Stomach is going up, then chest is going down. So it's like this. There's a seesaw.
We also do continuing education conferences. All of this to help the doctors and nurses to save the lives of more of these precious babies.
So anyway, there are various levels of care, and the levels of care in India are very similar to the ones that have been made in the U.S.
Most of the 12 hospitals that we visit each year have very busy maternity wards, some of them delivering between 3,000 and 6,000 babies a year. Even with all these deliveries, the nurses and doctors have very little formal training in taking care of babies, especially those that are born sick or are born prematurely. And many hospitals have no pediatrician at all. We have lots of wonderful donations that are given to us to bring to the hospitals. So when we arrive, we spend some time sorting these all out and dividing them into piles for each of the 12 hospitals. These warm sweaters and hats and blankets are really appreciated by the hospitals because it's actually very cold in northern India in the winter, getting down near freezing, and there is no heat in the hospital or in any of the homes. So little babies will easily get hypothermic. A bright spot this year in our time in India was making a new patient education video. This one is on dehydration and diarrhea. This video was done in 2 native languages, and the actors were actually 3 students from the School of Nursing who did a wonderful job.
ডায়েৰিয়াৰ পৰা ৰক্ষা কৰা আমাৰ সকলোৰে কৰ্তব্য। আপোনাৰ শিশু আপোনাৰ ওপৰত নিৰ্ভৰ কৰে সহায়ৰ কাৰণে।
This illness still kills over 300,000 children a year, more than 1,000 every day, and is one of the worst killers of children in India. Again, our friend Mike Veda came and gave his expertise to help with this film, including his son Jake in the adventure, both in helping to film and in experiencing the joys of India. We pray that many parents will be able to see this film and that many lives will be saved through this. In our travels, there are times of wonderful encouragement when we see that our efforts really have resulted in progress for the hospitals, such as here in a remote hospital where there was no place to care for babies, and now this neonatal intensive care has 8 beds, which often houses up to 14 sick babies at a time. Or other success stories, such as this one from another hospital in Assam, where Dr. Rachel tells us about starting a nursery there after 2 days of training with Grace Babies. She's very enthusiastic about the changes this has made in her hospital. But there are also discouragements. When we go back after training for many days and find on the next visit the equipment lying broken, and many of the trained nurses have left, and leadership has changed at the hospitals, and babies are not being taken care of well. But despite all of this, progress really has been made, and many people tell us about the lives that have been saved. And many babies and children now go home with a chance for a better life.